guys, so today we're going to film a Q&A session. I'm going to respond to some of the questions I've had on recent videos. I want to try and make this into a weekly thing, so to put a Q&A out every single week. So just going to say from the start of the video now, guys, if you've got any questions, obviously running questions, nutrition, training tips, anything like that, leave them in the comments below, and then I'll try and do a video like this every week, try and get back to at least as many of those as I can possible. But obviously any of these kind of pointers within the Q&As are probably videos which are really good ideas for videos in the future, so things that maybe I might go into more detail in the future in. But within these videos anyway, I just want to try and give you guys a bit of direction, a bit of help, maybe for some sort of problems that you might be having at the moment, just to give you that little bit of inspiration, a little bit of information to help you get on your way and hopefully solve some of these questions. Okay, so the first question here, any tips for hill training if you live in a flat area, flat land? Yeah, so this is a question I get quite often, quite frequently, especially these days when lots of people want to get into trail, mountain, ultra running perhaps, but don't live near the mountains. How are there effective ways that they can train for that? So obviously there's the obvious things, you can jump on the treadmill, play around the incline on there. Also, you can really consider about adding in some plyometrics, some strength work into your training, which is really going to help develop the strength in the legs, just to give you that little bit of an extra chance when you do get to the mountains, or if you're training on the flat area and you're going to be racing in mountainous conditions. Maybe looking to see if there's any stairs nearby in your area. Maybe there might be some good stairways that you can practice on, just to get that momentum going, get that strength, that power in the legs to really help you get up those climbs. Besides that, like I said, most important thing is just to get out and just get running, get the mileage up. People can be surprised with how much of a difference that can make in itself. Just get out there, get running, get some good interval sessions in there, get some good tempos in there. Make sure your running fitness is as good as it can be. When you get to the mountains, you might find you actually surprise yourself and feel a lot stronger than you'd expect. What I would recommend as well though, if you are running a mountainous ultra, a big mountain race ahead of you, if you've got that planned in the future, try and find some training weekends in there where you can get to the mountains. It doesn't have to be exact replica of race day, it doesn't have to be the race day course, but just driving maybe an hour from where you are, half an hour, I'm sure there must be some sort of hill nearby where you can get some ascent in there, some uphill training, some downhill training. Obviously that will be important when it comes to race day and keeping your legs strong. So the next question there, what is my opinion on calf sleeves, arm sleeves, compression gear? So to be honest guys, I don't really run very often in compression gear. I do think there's a good use for it. There's certainly a good use for it if you're doing these longer races. The support that it can offer the body there is really beneficial in certain key areas. It's not something that I usually race with myself though. If I'm doing a lot of my racing in the hot conditions, I'm really mostly concerned about staying as cool as I can. But I certainly do think there is a place for compression gear within running. After many runs, after hard training sessions, I'm always putting compression gear on, so I do use compression gear a fair amount. I do use compression socks, I do use compression leggings from time to time, just to allow that increased circulation that it can bring to really help the recovery benefits there after a long run, after a hard training session, or just day to day within general training. If I'm sat on the computer doing some work for a lot of the day, I'll put compression sleeves on there just to help that blood circulation, that blood supply keep moving through the legs really nice and really increase that circulation, which is important when you're thinking about recovery. So the next question, I drink green tea instead of coffee, is that a good idea? So green tea is full of antioxidants, really helpful antioxidants, really help you tackle those free radicals that are generated within exercise, within hard training bouts. So green tea is definitely, it's a good option there. Obviously it is still full of caffeine, very similar to coffee there. So it is something that I really recommend that you don't become reliant on. From time to time, sure, having a green tea can be very good. There are lots of fantastic health benefits associated with it. It certainly is a better option, I would say personally, than coffee itself. And, if you're putting a lot of caffeine substances into your body, if you're relying a lot on green tea, on coffee, on other teas, where the caffeine level can be quite high, then that's putting a lot of strain on your adrenal glands, which really can leave you feeling quite drained or needing that kind of caffeine burst at the start of the day to get going. So I recommend not becoming reliant on these things, guys, but from time to time, sure, if that feels good to you, then go for it. But yeah, make sure you are just keeping yourself really hydrated. Make sure you're focusing on eating lots of great foods as well. Okay, next question there, do you do your long run before breakfast? So I think this was on a recent training vlog that I did where I was out running for quite some time and then had my breakfast following the run. I do this quite often. as I said, I am in Southeast Asia right now, so it's extremely hot, it's extremely humid. So for me, I always just try and get out the door as fast as I can in the morning. So that doesn't mean I'm completely fasted all the time. I am used to that now. I've been doing that for many years, so I do know what my body can handle in terms of how long it can handle being out on the trail without having any specific breakfast as such. But from time to time, if I do feel hungry, if I'm going for a harder, longer, more intense run, I will start the morning with some really light breakfast, maybe just a couple of bananas, and then I feel that that sits quite well in my stomach to be able to get out the door. But for you guys, I'd recommend, if you're not used to getting out the door without having any breakfast at all, if you don't run first thing in the morning, it can take some getting used to really be able to get out there on an empty stomach and get training. So I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. It doesn't usually work for everyone straight away, but it's something you can implement into your training slowly over time. It might feel a bit of a strange concept to start with, but if you do feel like you need something to eat, just keep it really light. If you are having a bigger breakfast before you go out running, I definitely recommend at least 2 hours or an hour and a half at least to give that some time to settle within your stomach. But within these longer runs for myself personally, I do generally go out in a fasted state or just with very little food within the stomach. If I've eaten really well the day before, then I find I've got plenty of energy from that evening meal. Next question, aren't dogs a problem there or any other kind of wild animals? How do I handle these wild animals on the trail? So out here in Chiang Mai, where I am in the moment in North Thailand, there are dogs, certainly there's lots of dogs out there. But yeah, for the most part within Chiang Mai, I've always found the dogs are pretty relaxed, because they're just used to people coming and going, back and forth. So it's very rare that you'll get chased by a dog or a dog is very aggressive. If you do find yourself in a situation, maybe when you're being chased by a dog or a dog is being incredibly aggressive to you, you do have to make sure you're being the alpha dog within the situation. Obviously go with your instincts at the same time though, but sometimes your instinct can be to run faster or to run away, and if the dog is extremely fast or it is stronger, this isn't going to be a good idea. It's just going to aggravate the dog and the dog is going to play along and obviously go for you. I have been bitten before. It's not a fun experience. It happened to me in North India. I don't know if I've said this before. I did have to go to some Indian hospital in the middle of nowhere, get a rabies shot. So it is something to avoid, guys, but out here, as I said, most of the dogs are pretty relaxed, pretty chilled. Some really, really lovely dogs out there on the trails, and very rare I come across an aggressive one. In terms of other wild animals, here in Chiang Mai itself, you don't get an awful lot because we're so close to the city. You will see snakes from time to time. You do see some incredible spiders from time to time, some golden orb weaver spiders, which always make their webs across the trail in the rainy season, so you're literally just running into a face full of spider all the time. Okay, next question, guys. How do you decide if it's best to rest or to run? Resting heart rate, or do you go feel? If you are just sick or it's illness related or anything like that, or you've got some sort of niggles, then you do need to listen to your body. You do need to be respectful of your body and look for those key signs, those key indicators. And often one of the biggest indicators I would say for a lot of people is that if they're feeling motivated. If you're feeling good and motivated to get out the door and to get running, then generally that's a good indicator that everything's working well. If you are tired, if you are exhausted, of course these are things that will come into play if you're training for some big events, if you're training hard, if you're training for a marathon or a distance event. Exhaustion, fatigue are things that you will feel, but you need to try and find that middle ground to really realize if you're seriously fatigued and you need to take a step back and rest, or if you should push through that training. So resting heart rate, of course, is a good indicator of this. So if your heart rate when you wake up in the morning is 5, even 10 beats higher than it usually should be, then that's definitely an indicator that perhaps you're training a little bit too much. Your body is under stress. You may be coming down with some sort of sickness. These are all signs, all indications that maybe you should take a step back. Maybe it's just for a day, maybe it's just for a day or two, but you should give your body some time to absorb that training, to recover, to rest. But generally, as an athlete, I would say most people are pretty well in tune with their bodies. If you are taking stimulants, if you are taking other supplements like that which are masking those effects of fatigue, make sure you aren't going straight for that coffee pot in the morning. Listen to your body first, feel how are you feeling. That gives you a good clear indication of how you're feeling and how you are recovering. So I hope this Q&A helped you out, guys. Hope there's some good ideas in here, maybe some thoughts to answer these questions for you. I'm going to try and do a Q&A like this every single week now, as I said. So if you have any questions, if you have any queries, any ideas like that, please leave them in the comment section below here. I will read them, I will check them out, and I'll pick some of those out for our next video next week. I do get back to the comments as best as I can as well, so I really appreciate it, guys. All the feedback on this channel has just always been great, and really appreciate that. And I really like the opportunity for us, you know, for me just to be able to give you some of my time in these Q&As and to answer some of those questions specifically for you guys, and to give you a helping hand for your training, for your racing, for your ambitions within the sport, because, you know, we can all achieve some great things, and I really want you guys to enjoy your running as much as possible. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and happy running.